What's up, guys? It is John Muscarello here from Side Hustle Experiment. If you're new to the channel, welcome. I'm a six-figure Amazon full-time seller. I sell books and I'm really getting into online arbitrage right now. And in today's video, we're going to talk about 5 big mistakes I have made doing online arbitrage so you don't have to make them. You can learn from me. And on this channel, before we get into it, we talk about how you can make money selling on Amazon, selling on eBay. So if that is something you're into, please subscribe to the channel. Please like this video. It would really mean a lot to me. So for everyone who's new here, some of you have been following along, I started doing online arbitrage about 4 months ago. Not full-time. I run a full-time book business. I have a warehouse. We do Gaylords of books. For anyone who doesn't know what that is, it's basically huge books, huge boxes of books that are 1,000 pounds, almost 1,000 books in each one. And when the restock limits happened back in last April, I decided I wanted to kind of go the online arbitrage route, just because it's kind of something I always wanted to do. I always thought books was just going to be the start for me, and then kind of morph into either online arbitrage or wholesale. So that's where I'm headed. So I got 5 mistakes that I've made recently. If I'm looking over there, it's just because I made some notes and to try to stay on track here. So I would say I started online arbitrage in one of the best times to start. I started in like October-ish, seriously. So that's right in fourth quarter. November was right there. December was awesome. You almost can't, you could buy some bad stuff, but pretty much everything you're buying like is gonna sell or you're gonna break even on. So it was a great time to get started, but not, it was quite the learning curve, because when I started, I was buying for, like it was fourth quarter. So then when fourth quarter ended, I was buying like it was fourth quarter, thinking it would stay the same, and it did not. So I ended up with a bunch of inventory. So just as that recap, number 1 mistake I made was I stopped spending money in December. So like I said, I started really ramping up in November. I was talking to a lot of people that were like, you gotta be spending money, you gotta be spending money. I got a new American Express card, put 10 grand right on it within probably 2 or 3 weeks. I'm like, whoa, like this is crazy. You know, that would take me maybe like 3 or 4 months to buy books with. So I was just like, okay, like, and I pulled off the brake. Like I was like, let things sell through, and let's see what happens. And huge mistake. Because with online arbitrage, it's not like you're buying it and then you could sell it tomorrow, right? So if you're merchant fulfilling it, yes, you could list it, but what has to happen is you have to wait a couple days, sometimes 4 or 5 days for the inventory to ship to you. Then you have to prep it, put a label on it, send it to Amazon. Then Amazon has to check it into their warehouse. And most of the time, what they check in is going to another warehouse. So it could be 2 to 3 weeks before your items are even live. So by not buying anything or kind of like pulling back, I was still buying a little, but not as much. I lost a ton of time. I started buying again in January, like right after Christmas. And then like, January was good. But it could have been much better if I didn't stop spending. So that's number 1. Number 2, I had a ridiculous spending goal. So when I started January, I was like, okay, this is the year for OA. This is what you're gonna do. You're gonna spend $1,000 a day, no excuses. You're gonna run the book business. You're gonna do eBay. You're gonna keep doing everything you're doing. And that did not work at all. And one of the reasons it didn't work, so the $1,000 spend goal, depending on where you are in your journey, that might seem like nothing. I know people who spend that before breakfast. I know people who that's their budget for 2 weeks, 3 weeks. It just really depends. But for me, the problem where I got stuck on the spend goal was it was way too much for me personally, not to spend, but as someone being new, it was so overwhelming. Oh, how am I gonna spend $1,000? How am I gonna spend $1,000? Oh, I'm $800 away. Oh my God, I'm never gonna hit it. So what I ended up doing was I scrapped $1,000 and I was like, spend 500. You could do 500. I know you could do 500. Just spend 500. And what happened was once I got 500, I was like, oh, like this isn't bad at all. And then I was able to like creep up a little bit. I'm still not at 1,000. Hopefully within the next week or two, that's where I'll be with new products and replens. But hitting the 500, I was like, you feel good about yourself. You're like, okay, like I'm finding some stuff. Like I'm not saying like you should set your goals super low, but in this case, like that's almost like saying, hey, I'm gonna make $1 million on Amazon and you're just starting this year. Yeah, is it possible? Sure. But if you're new to the game, don't understand the game, like it's not happening for you unless something insane happens. But that was mistake number 2, setting the bar way too high. So I just kind of failed and then got really frustrated with the whole process. And once I lowered it a little bit, $500 is a good chunk to spend. I was able to hit that and gain some momentum. Number 3, I was making way too big of test buys. So I talked to a couple of $1 million sellers who sold $1 million in 2021. And they were asking me like, oh, how are you buying? What are you buying? What's the process like? And I was kind of telling them what the process was. And I was like, by the way, like how much are you guys, like what do you test buy? Or like how much are you buying? And keep in mind, these are people probably spending $30,000, $40,000 a month, maybe even more. And they're buying, they said to me, it's like, well, sometimes I just start with like 5 or 6. And another person said, I'll send in like what I think I might be able to sell per month. But usually like 5 to 10 is our max. Me, I was like, oh my God, like I'm gonna spend like, I'm sending in like 10, 12, like right off the bat. And the stuff I was buying was like $20, $30 a pop. So it really adds up quickly. And luckily the stuff I was buying had enough margin in it where if the price did crash, I was either gonna make like $2 or $3 on it, or I was gonna lose $2 or $3. But some of them, like I was selling this one thing that was making me like $30 nonstop. So it all evened out at the end. But with that being said, is like when you're doing test buys, like shoot for like 5 or 10, not more. Usually for me, if it's over like $20, I will buy maybe between 5 and 8. Anything over like $30 or $40, like I'll most likely buy 5 and see how it goes. So yeah, don't be making these crazy buys straight up. To tie on to that, number 4 is you have to wait. I got really caught up in this before you buy more inventory. You want to make sure your inventory sells through all the way. So what would happen was I would buy something, send it in. Let's say I bought 10 or 12, right? It gets in there, 5 sell right away. I'm like, oh my God, this is awesome. I gotta buy more, I gotta buy more. I order another 10, and then I'm like, oh man, another 2 sold. Oh, I should order another 10. Like it's gonna go so quick. And then, keep in mind, this is like the first time I sent it to Amazon. And then what would happen is the items kind of get caught up in FC transfer, going to different fulfillment centers. Other sellers came on the listing. The price started to go down a little bit. And then before you know it, an item that had, you know, maybe 20 or 30 sellers on it now had 60 to 70. The price is down like 10 or 20%. I'm shooting for 30% margin, so I still have some money, but now I'm tying up capital for 10%, which I don't want to do. The listing's crowded, so it's going to be harder to sell it through quicker. So what I really learned is, you know what? Wait till the whole thing sells through, then look at the listing. I'm taking better notes where I'm like, when I buy the products, I'm like, this is how many sellers are on it. And then once it sells through, I look how many sellers are on it, where the price is at. Do I still like it? Do I still think it's good? And then if I do still think it's good, maybe if I bought 10, I'll send in 20. If I bought 5, I'll send in 10 and kind of retest it out. And if that pans out, which I've done for like 2 or 3 items so far, then I'll like kind of really sit down and think like how much I could sell a month, and then kind of go from there. And then number 5, I would say when you're doing this, like online arbitrage or anything else, when you're not getting results, this is gonna come with a caveat. You have to change up what you're doing. So there were times where I was just running tactical arbitrage searches, running different storefronts and doing this and doing that, and just keep doing it over and over and over and over again. And I wasn't getting any results. And that's not to say tactical arbitrage does not work. I'm a big fan. But I was just doing general searches like everyone else is doing, like Walmart beauty, scan, scan, scan. Everyone else is doing that. I might find something, I might not. I do. So what I learned was to avoid this is ask for help. I talked to a consultant. They really helped me out a lot. How to put together a plan to attack the online arbitrage, how do I want to hit my goals. I'm very grateful to have a lot of friends in this community just from over the years or 2, just talking with them, helping them helping me, going on their YouTube channels, all that kind of stuff. So having that network to lean on is super important. And if something's really not working, definitely ask for clarification, watch a YouTube video. Like sometimes it's just tiny little things that you're not doing correctly that if you change that, it will change everything for you. So I would definitely say those are the 5 big mistakes I've made so far. As I'm thinking in my head, I don't even know if I could do them in order. But the first one is I stopped spending money. The second one, I set my spending goal way too high. That was almost unachievable from the spot I was in. Number 3, I was making too big of test buys. Number 4, I wasn't waiting till all my inventory sold out before ordering new inventory. I mean, there could be a caveat to that as well. But I would say let it sell through. And if it's really that good, you'll be able to buy it again some other time. And if not, make a note of it and you'll find something else. And number 5, don't keep doing things that aren't working. Change it up a little bit. Ask for help, watch YouTube videos, reach out to people on Instagram. There's so many people who are willing to help in the community. And that's what I got for you guys. The 5 things that I kind of screwed up starting online arbitrage recently. If you liked the video, please like it. Please subscribe to the channel. It would mean a ton to me. DM me. You could DM me if you have any questions at Side Hustle Experiment on Instagram. And thank you so much for watching. I will see you guys in the next video.